lions and a traitor. And a traitor.
Hey everybody, welcome to an excellent new episode of the Nerditorium Live. This week, I have Dinkar on my left. How's it going, Dinkar?
It's going well.
Nice t-shirt. And also, we have Ruchi. How's it going, Ruchi? Ruchi can't hear.
I think you might have fully, yeah.
Can you hear me, Ruchi? Your video is
Yeah,
okay.
no,
You're back. You're back. I
Okay.
think you're lagging a bit, but I'm sure it'll sort itself out momentarily.
Ruchi, I think you're lagging a bit,
I hope so.
but I'm sure it'll sort itself out. It's fine.
Nice. Very good. All right. So slightly delayed episode. We were finishing some stuff, but this week we're taking a break from big franchises, including Justice League, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and most recently the Godzilla v Kong film. That is, our review is imminent and our viewing experience as well. But we shall stay away from that for a week. This week we decided to take something. Is there any relevance to what we're talking about? Why did we come up with this, Dinkar?
You said, what do we talk about? And I said, greatest part 2s of all time. So
Okay.
I think we talk about sequels on occasion, but here we're talking purely part 2.
So I've titled this
franchise.
episode as best sequels ever. But
Nice.
but it's fine. It's the sophomore film. It's the
Listen, man, we're going to be doing the show for a while. We need to kind of pace ourselves.
Exactly, I
At
agree.
the
I mean, it's not
content.
like we barely scratched the surface in 340 episodes of the podcast. So
Exactly.
we gotta pace ourselves. I will say that does that in its inherently merit a part 2 of this episode?
Of course, where
Okay.
we talk about part 3s.
Correct. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we have to do a prequel. Okay. Whatever. All right.
That
Speaking-
they love prequels.
Ruchi's voice is disembodied, and now she's
That-
speaking.
I'm so
So I'll tell you what you
sorry.
can do, Ruchi. What you could do is say something.
Hi, guys.
Okay, it's like maybe. Oh shit, we lost everyone. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, we lost everybody. Give me a second. Everybody, chill out. Everybody look pretty for half a second while I fix this. Oh god, I hate this when this happens. Right now it's a regular podcast, but if anybody wants to just say something. Okay, cool. We're back. And everybody got to see my window. But anyway.
Your window.
Yeah, it cut to my list of the greatest movie sequels of all time.
No. By your list, you mean the Google tab?
Yeah, it says
said-
best sequels. But in any case, all right.
Showing them how the sausage is copied from Google.
It's fine. I think it's all right. Okay, let's go. Let's Aditi says hello. Hi Aditi, thanks for joining. Why don't you chime in the comments? Tell us what your favorite sequels are or your best part 2. Let's begin with the best part 2. Ruchi, what you got for us?
I can only think of one which I just thought of because you just told me what we were
Okay,
talking
let's
about.
go. Let's open.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Man's Chest.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
That-
Dead Man's Chest is the second one, yes. And the last one is what? At World's End, correct.
I
yes.
mean, that's not the last one since we've discovered.
The last of the original trilogy.
The last of the trilogy. Yeah. Fair enough. So Dead Man's Chest. This was a big follow up for them because Pirates of the Caribbean was such a huge success. Gore Verbinski, Johnny Depp, iconic role, setting up Keira Knightley. I mean, Star Wars did that for her, but let's just fair enough. It was this franchise. What can you tell us of your movie going experience of Dead Man's Chest?
I have none because I watched it at home. Yeah.
Aww.
I was a kid. That was the whole point of this.
What year? What year is this? What year did we see this movie for?
I'm about to out myself. I don't know. About to out my.
I feel like
As
it was
a person with an age, that's okay.
It was like a 2007. Can we take a guess? 2008, something like that.
I think it's before 2008 for sure.
Let me do a number crunch on that.
Yeah.
A fact check.
Hey, the point is,
I think the first movie was 2004 or something, 2003 or something. I don't know.
So the first thing that we struggle to remember was that there have been 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The most recent one being from 2017, which was like last year, if I'm counting correctly.
Right.
Yeah, sure. You go.
Dead Man's Chest was 2006.
Almost had it.
I was in. Should I say? I was in fifth grade.
Yeah, we were in school as well.
Yeah.
I was in school. Dinka,
Yeah.
were you in school? You were in school. You were in
I
the
was
final
also in
year of
school.
school.
Yes. At World's End came out in our first year of college. Or the second year of
Okay.
college.
I probably shouldn't have brought that up. Anyway, so the point is, it was really me and my brother would obsessively watch like the first 3, which is like the canonical trilogy. The other
Why
two
do you keep
movies-
saying that? Do you not? Do you
Because the
just
other two
not
don't
count?
matter to me. I think they're
But Johnny
trash.
Depp is in those other 2 as well, right? And so is Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, but
Jeffrey Rush's own.
what do you
in
even
all three-
remember?
he's in all 3.
He's in the
Dinkar-
last one. I saw. Sorry.
Dinkar seen the other 2. What do you even remember about the last one? I haven't seen it.
I remember the last scene of the last one. That's why,
I
because
also
it's
remember the
it's an
last scene of
important
the
scene.
last one. Yeah,
You
because
remember?
they
Hey,
kind
dude,
of-
we did see this movie together.
Yes, they tie up the whole Will Turner saga.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Bootstrap
now-
Bill.
And I remember Keith Richards was in one of them.
He was in the 4th one, I want to say.
That was the third one.
Or 3rd one,
No,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
3rd
third
one,
one.
yeah.
That was the 3rd one, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Penelope
It was
Cruz was in the
that.
4th one.
Man,
They
yeah, I
go on
just-
a jaunt through an island. This I remember.
I just remember
My favorite
Legolas. I'm
movie of all
saying
time. So.
Orlando Bloom having Orlando Bloom has been in some big things, man. He's Lord of the Rings and Pirates, which are like huge fantasy kind of franchises. The guy is must have made bank.
I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know if you're about to compare Lord of the Rings.
No, I'm just
and
talking
Pirates.
about Orlando Bloom being, a central figure in both of these. Well, like an important figure in these, Man, he's in the Fellowship, dude. And he's in the Hobbit trilogy also.
That's
So the guy's made bank. Good for him. What about the legacy of these first 3 films? If we think about them now, I remember not. I remember watching the 3 films after the end. Of all 3, I was just like, I think Dead Man's Chest was probably my least favorite of the 3. But not by a huge margin. I think the first one is probably the best. Then At World's End has that excellent scene which everybody remembers, where they both get married on the boat while it's swirling in a
battle,
maelstrom, and I thought that was really neat. And Barbossa is like good now, which we all wanted in the beginning, and we got it. And that was great. Bill Nye is there. He plays a squiddy kind of Davy Jones, which was great. Man, yeah, that's the other thing I remember distinctly, that the CGI in these films was very comparable. Like, it was
Very.
probably, it was like Disney
But
money.
still holds up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You watched Black Pearl recently, so doesn't it like? Is it still? Or
It's
is
still
it like?
good. Yeah. In fact, the very famous scene of it's time you start believing in nightmares. You're living in one. You're in one. Yeah. So that, when they kind of come into the moonlight in the first film, that was excellent, man. It was great. I enjoyed it because they know the limitations of that. At the same time, there's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of physical comedy because of the gag that when they're in the moonlight, they are exposed, and then And but it was cool, man. Like, I remember going to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride as a kid, and I paid no mind. I mean, I thought it was a cool ride, but it was like, it's a very simple ride. You sit in the boat, and it just takes you through these little animatronic kind of spots. And a lot of the scenes from the first movie, and I think later on they picked up scenes which are from the original ride. So that was cool. So it kind of retroactively gained relevance for me. But I mean, yeah, it was quite cool. I enjoyed the films. What was the most notable part of Dead Man's Chest? Because I can't remember, apart from Bill Nye.
It's the intro to Davy Jones. That's the whole thing. That's like, it's like cool. At the time, it was like a really out there kind of thing. The CG, it's like heavily gross, and they lean into that, and that's just like for kids, that was like the best thing.
Isn't Stellan Skarsgård in this also, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he is.
He's Bootstrap Bill.
Will Turner's father.
Yeah. Sweet.
He's crazy. Like, he's in like so many things, and you hardly even just. And then you do, and then you're like, oh,
yeah, he's great. I love Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did the Pirate series invent this this image of Davy Jones as a squid face dude? Because I remember that being really surprising to me.
Dinkar, let's be fair.
Davy Jones in pirate stories anyway, but then you see that he's a squid person.
Well, Dinkar, let's be fair and say that, first of all, most of Pirates of the Caribbean is a ripoff of The Secret of Monkey Island, a game that we cherish and love from the 90s. And if you remember, LeChuck, the villain, has a beard that is like a zombie beard. His beard is like
ghost beard.
It's a ghost beard. So maybe it has some. They've taken some kind of stuff from that.
That is, I mean, how much will they rip off to start with?
Well, they don't have a plucky protagonist.
Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, far superior to any of the Pirates movies.
Yeah, it is the best sequel ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ruchi, you have to play The Secret of Monkey The Curse of Monkey Island, The Secret of Monkey Island. All these games are just... I have no words.
I'll find them. 100%. But actually...
Wait, but... If you can still download them off Steam, but does your computer have 128 MB RAM? It might be.
It really? Hey, but I will say this.
Heavy.
There was a remaster made about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and remastered the first game, and they added like voice acting. The guy who was voicing Guybrush from the other games, like he came back to re-voice the characters from scratch, and you could toggle between the old pixelated version and the new kind of finessed like remastered version, and the music quality, like the bit rate would increase. It was really great. So that was really good. Parag Kashyap says, "Hey guys, so we're gonna talk about Empire Strikes Back and call it a day."
I mean.
Wait, so before...
And he also says, wasn't Release the Kraken from Dead Man's Chest?
Wasn't Release the Kraken from one of the Titans movies?
From one of the
Titans movies.
I think it's Liam Neeson saying Release the Kraken, if I'm not mistaken.
Which was either Wrath of the Titans or the other thing of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Clash was the first.
The Kraken's like stuck in his locker in that sandy thing. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, wait, but the most important part of this entire Pirates tangent is that inspired me to go, and Disney would like cash cow anything, and they made like all of these novelizations of the Captain Alcoholic Jack Sparrow thing. And when he was like a teenager and he was going through all of these places, how he has like a reputation in all these tiny towns. So there's like a whole series of that.
Oh, sweet. Jack Sparrow, the early years, the college years, the Princeton years.
These are books, like novelizations.
Yeah, they're books. And they're so good. None of the fucking movies could even like match up to this.
You know what's so interesting? That they never made Pirates of the Caribbean into like an animated TV series like they did like Aladdin or any of these.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
I mean, you never know.
Actually, that's true. I just saw Mighty Ducks the other day, so
do you think
anything
it might
is possible.
Because Johnny Depp is such a his performance is so singular that you can't just recast it like you would.
I mean,
Aladdin.
see, they've
Then
tried
Yeah,
to.
we got
we might
Genie
have
in
to-
Aladdin, so
We might have to think about recasting him right now. He's not in this.
Yeah, just give it to Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Fantastic Beasts. Right? That's the. All right. Sorry.
let's move on. Dinko, what is your best follow up? What's your best part 2?
I got a dicey one, but an interesting one to talk about, and I got a straight up classic. Which one do you want?
Give us the dicey one. Give us the edgy one.
Hot Fuzz? That's
Oh, dude, Hot Fuzz is his best
right. It's the best of that trilogy.
of the Cornetto trilogy. It is the best.
I was looking, as is de rigueur for us when we do these. I googled best sequels of all time, and while I was reading about Toy Story 2, I was like, wait, Hot Fuzz is a good movie. So that's a great.
I mean, can you call it a like?
Well, yeah, it's not a real trilogy, hence it's not a
Spiritual.
real part 2. But I stand by the argument that it is easily, like, far and away the best of all 3 of those. Also, I didn't think about it this way until recently, but each of them is a different genre, though they're basically like different versions.
That's
of
true.
the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
movie. But
So
one of them
one is
sci-fi, one
Zomcom.
of them is supernatural.
One is Zomcom, one is social science fiction, and one is a police. Well, actually, the
Like Hot Fuzz has no supernatural or sci-fi elements. It's just a weird cult.
yeah, it's a cult. Yeah, that's true. So it's the it's an occult film, kind of supernatural kind of thing.
And World's End, the other World's End. What is this one called? The World's End.
At World's End.
At World's End. Then what is the Pirates one called?
No, Pirates is at World's End,
At World's
and
End.
this is,
This is-
the World's End,
Yeah.
named after the pub in which
And
they.
the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg movie is
This is the end.
Cool.
Yeah. Tell us about Chalo, tell us about Toy Story 2.
Wait, what? I thought.
I mean,
We have 2 on the table. We're done with Hot Fuzz discussion. Toy Story 2. I think there's a case for it to be made. There's a case to be made that it might be the best Toy Story. I don't know.
but you and I
it's a
both
big
know that
argument.
that's not true.
Is it not though? Like, it's really good.
I mean, no, there's no doubt. See, it does a number of things, okay? One is straight up Jesse, okay? Bringing, what do you call it, Joan Cusack into the mix and Bullseye. Just the
And Sarah
addition.
McLachlan.
Yeah. Just the addition of the new cast members and
And
the whole.
Bullseye. Hello.
Yeah, I just said Bullseye.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
My bad.
I said, so Bullseye, Jesse, Jesse's backstory, everybody knows that's the scene, right? That's the whole flippin' movie. But also, there was that, I just remember that scene it's very ingrained in my memory of, them, the collector, right? And how he kind of fixes Woody up after he loses his arm. That was like such a huge thing because it's like a throwback to the first movie where Buzz thinks he can fly.
Yeah.
And he breaks his arm off. And in this one, like, his arm kind of goes thinking that, because it's like constantly Woody learning this lesson that,
Arms can break.
arms can break. But also that, this reminder that you're just a toy, is kind of like, it's tragic and it's poetic. It's just awesome, man. Like, this movie is really good. And that ending sequence at the airport, right? That is amazing.
It's so cool.
It is one of my favorite scenes ever, dude. Yeah, I love
It
this
was brilliant
movie.
idea to set it in that.
Yeah.
In that setting
Shit, I'm
in the
gonna watch
first
this
place.
again now.
I feel like the thing with the Toy Story movie is you watch any of them and you walk away like, man, this is the best Toy Story movie.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, I love Toy Story 4 also a lot, right? Like, exactly this happened. I finished watching Toy Story 4 and I was like, this is the best one.
The best Toy Story movie is the one
that you just
watched.
watched. Exactly.
But it's Toy Story 3. Anyway.
Toy Story 3 is... it is the best one. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's the best one for the same reason The Dark Knight Rises is the best. It's closure. It's closure, man. That's what it is. Anyway.
The Dark Knight Rises is the best one. I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Anyway, And that's why we won't be talking about the Dark Knight today. but
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like your usual suspects, or usual suspects 2, which would be like Dark Knight, Empire.
Empire. I mean,
Godfather
it's
2.
hard to go.
Keep them all out of this discussion.
Yeah, it's hard because everybody can. I feel like Toy Story 2 is also like then, like
Yeah?
yeah, it's a no-brainer, man. Like this is one of the few series where the sequels just kind of keep adding to, to the mix. And
Let me introduce a new, like a different kind of part 2. You know those movies where in part 2 they throw out everything from the first one and go like, we're just making a completely different movie. Like
Paddington 2.
Terminator 2.
Oh,
Or Paddington 2.
Oh,
I mean, Paddington 2 still does everything that's great about Paddington.
I agree, but Paddington
Same
2 is
kind
a
of
completely different story. Like,
Yes.
it's Paddington now is kind of settled with the Browns. He's chill. And now it's all about, like, it's digging into the backstory where he wants to get his aunt, like, he wants to get his aunt this present. Dude, it's a completely independent story. Like, really, you don't even, I mean, you'd be a fool not to watch Paddington 1 and then watch Paddington 2, but you could, is what I'm saying. Terminator
You'd be a
2,
fool to watch Paddington 2 and not watch Paddington 1, you mean?
like, not in order. You can,
Oh.
though. You can.
You can, but
Because if
yes,
you have
don't
read the
have to.
books, it's just another Paddington story,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
It's like a serial storytelling kind of
Yeah.
model.
And
They're different episodes.
small aside, Ruchi and I met at Paddington Station when we were in
Ah.
London. Yeah. It was so that movie is special for 100 years. It's a flawless film.
oh wait, you're making it sound like we met for the first time.
No.
That's
But we
not-
met after like 2 years or something at Paddington. I think that's
you met
quite
after
cool.
Paddington 2 years?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I see.
I kind of like I confirmed it as well. He was like, "Oh yeah, at Paddington." I'm like the movie.
No, the station. Richie,
Yeah.
did you not read Michael Bond's Paddington?
No,
Anyway, it's fine. And you're the one who lived there. Okay, well, technically you didn't live in London,
I
so
didn't
it's
know.
fine. Yeah.
But then I
But-
was there a lot. Anyway.
But there's a statue of Paddington. Like he's just hanging out at Paddington Station. It's great. Anyway, Paddington 2 is just as good, if not better, than
Yeah.
Paddington 1. It
I
stars.
mean, they're both perfect.
They're
so-
both perfect films, essentially. Yeah, Hugh Grant is once again in this fine form he's been in of late, like in The Gentleman and.
Was
and,
this the first of his I'm going to be a villain now
well, no.
roles?
In Cloud Atlas, he plays like multiple roles, some kind of CD,
Right.
but some outright villainous. So he did start that kind of there, but yeah, he really cemented it in maybe Paddington 2,
Yeah.
and also and he's great, and The Gentleman also, which is really really good.
The funniest thing about the entire time The Undoing was airing on HBO was people just using screen grabs of Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant from the show and captioning it with like quotes from the movie Paddington 2.
Nice, because they've both
Nice.
played villains in the movies. Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna. Parag says, I remember reading a Dead Man's Chest graphic novel as a kid.
I have read that as well.
They just take the movie and turn it into a storyboard, and it was pretty cool to read the movie. I remember this
Nice.
happened with Return of the Jedi also. My brother had a copy of Return of the Jedi as a like a graphic novel, and it was basically scene for scene. It was like a storyboard, exactly like that. Shravan says Krish.
Is that a part 2? Yeah, of course it's a
Yeah.
part
It is,
Krish
but
3
we
is a part-
unfortunately we don't have a Krish 2 because Krish is Krish 2.
Yes.
And finally Parag says,
Yeah.
oh wait, isn't every sequel supposed to have somebody lose their hand to pay tribute to Empire? Like Toy Story 2. I believe that was I mean that's what the
It's a
Marvel Phase
reference.
2 had, only like in every movie has somebody losing an arm, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But is Marvel Phase 2 the best phase
No,
of
listen. We
What other
just
phases
said
do
no.
you have?
No, that's not allowed.
Okay, fair enough. Not allowed. All right.
Because if we were doing that, it's Iron Man 2.
I think we should also, fair enough. And we should also not count Spider-Man 2, I think, because again, another obvious but great sequel.
Outright classic. Yeah, true.
Yeah. All right.
This is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Just
In
in
that
case.
case,
Just to clarify.
Okay, and
But tell us
X-Men
about
2.
Terminator 2. I just want to talk about like how
Let's talk
it's
about
such
Terminator
a
2.
different movie from the Terminator.
Yes, it's a different genre. You're right.
Like it's a different genre. The rhythm is completely different. Even though it's the same people, it's not even like one of those sequels where they bring in a completely new crew.
I think that's the James Cameron effect. I mean, I know he directed the first one also as like this pulpy kind of horror, thriller, and the second one was a straight up action film. But he did
And
this
like a
for
family
Alien.
action film. It was one of the first of that like.
Yeah, I
Spielbergian,
remember,
Cameronian
dude.
genre.
I remember watching this at Rex Drive-In Theater.
You saw it at Rex Drive.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, also, then they had a 3D re-release, and Abhimanyu and I caught it here in Andheri also. So it was still great, like still excellent.
Nice.
I will say he did the same thing with Alien. Like Alien, the first
exactly.
Alien was such a again singular survivalist horror kind of thing, and the second was like a fucking awesome action sci-fi film, man, and it was great.
Yeah.
So I think he does that well. So Avatar 2.
In the first one, he took over for
Literally
Ridley
just gonna say that.
and like changed it up completely.
Yeah.
But in the second one, he changed up his own movie. He was like, screw it, we're doing a.
I like that.
family
I think that's
blockbuster
quite
now."
cool.
I love it. It's
I
a
think
great movie.
only Thor has done that like as significantly,
True. In part 3.
Yeah, in part 3 no less. I feel we watched it last night, Thor Ragnarok, and I just noticed that they're kind of dividing now. Because the third part was so successful, they're kind of not even following like a trilogy format anymore. It's like the first two films and now the next
Yeah.
two films. It's just like so bizarre. Right. So James Cameron's Terminator 2. I have a sequel that I want to talk about, which I absolutely love. And it's even more pertinent to name it because there is no follow-up to this, which is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Hellboy is a fantastic film and I really enjoyed it. But Hellboy 2 begins and ends like beautifully. Like the beginning is like a Lord of the Rings kind of exposition scene. And it's done with this really interesting kind of animation. I don't know what it's called, but it's just like this. They look like meeples, like from board games, and like when they do this entire exposition to set up the villain and everything like that, it's fantastic. But the best thing about this movie is that there's the main arc that is happening of the film, but then there's also Hellboy's arc, which is like his entire myth arc from the entire series, which is that Hellboy's destiny is to lead the army of hell, right? Like, and be the general, which he's kind of opposed his whole life. So at the end of this film, to get into the main kind of chamber where he's going to face the final villain, he makes a deal with, I think Doug Jones plays this like really weird prophetic character where he's got no eyes, but his eyes are on his hands. I don't even remember that character. It's like, it looks amazing and it's weird. And he says, okay, cool, I'll let you in. Exactly, that guy. And he's like, I'll let you in, but you have to promise that you will return to hell at some point. And it was just like this deal with the devil literally that he makes. And he's like, cool, I'll do it, but I need to go and I need to finish this. And the problem is that we'll never see that. We'll never flip and see that because they made another Hellboy. And you know what? We couldn't even finish watching that film. It was that
This
bad.
is the David Harbour one.
Yeah, and I have nothing against
course
David
not.
Harbour, but
He's
like,
great, but
wow, what
who
a...
made this new Hellboy?
It doesn't even matter because it was
Yeah.
so poor. It was almost like a Nicolas Cage film. Like that's like one of the bad ones, not
That
one
is
of the
such
classics.
A shame.
Yeah, it was almost gonna be like, wait.
Why did they even drop GDT? He really wanted to make a part 3, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. He's had this problem before. Like he wanted to make Pacific Rim 2. I think then it got delayed, but then they made Uprising. It wasn't as good. This film, obviously Hellboy, Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman is done now. Like he in the beginning, he was just like, I want to do it. He was campaigning for it heavily, and then like I think they had talks which didn't go as well, and they just went like, and he was like, I'm done. I never want to play the character again. So I think it didn't go as well as we would have liked.
Right.
And since then, he's made like so many of his own very good movies. So I think he's alright.
Yeah,
He's doing okay for himself. Guillermo del Toro.
My speakers are messed up. All right.
I have
Hellboy
another.
2. Hellboy 2 is great. But
Give
you
us
know what?
another Ruchi.
Sorry. Just to end the Hellboy discussion, we live in an age where we just might, this year, friends, we might see Tobey Maguire return in Spider-Man. Okay, and we always wanted to see Spider-Man 4. That was my dream. I still want it, especially after Amazing Spider-Man 2 tanked. I was like, and the whole, remember when Sony and Marvel split and there was this whole thing going? I was like, no, do it now, do Spider-Man 4 now. But we might see him again. So you never know. Apparently David Ayer is gonna do the Suicide Squad. He wants to do the Suicide Squad director's cut. So, hey.
I mean, sure.
Yeah,
we
know.
all want lots of things.
Sometimes it's good that we don't get it. All right. Ruchi, give us another.
Cool, I have a thing. So I was going through this list of highest grossing sequel movies, okay? And then I noticed that my favorite one is not on it, and that's Princess Diaries 2.
Oh, that is also one of my favorites.
I haven't seen Princess
It's
Diaries.
like-
2. Is it still with Andy?
No. Oh my
Yo.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Listen,
it's Chris Pine.
it's Chris Pine. Okay, first of all.
Oh, right.
And it's just like it's when Mia's getting into like the swing of things in Genovia.
Yeah, we actually go
Right.
to Genovia.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's
And
great.
he
It's a
has,
great
like,
film.
Every like girl movie has like chick flick has like this entire trope of this girl like she gets a makeover, now she has all this like cool stuff. So she has a classic scene where like you go into her like closet and it's like all these girls. I was like, oh my god, classic, very Hannah Montana, very also Disney. So I guess it
Nice.
might be Disney.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Disney at its purest.
Yeah, and Chris Pine is just
To
hard
die
as
for.
forever.
And you
yeah.
know what? They should bring back both of them for the now confirmed Princess Diaries 3. That would
There's
be.
Princess Diaries 2.
It hasn't been confirmed. Who's confirmed?
Of course, it's confirmed. It's confirmed, but they have not.
They haven't
They've not.
confirmed.
They've not confirmed the cast. They only said that she's back for it. If I'm,
Well,
listen,
if
I'm not
she's
imagining this shit. I'm serious. And also, in the vein of Disney movies that only had part 1 and part 2 and not 3, and we were yearning for 3, National Treasure 3 is due with
God
Nicolas
damn,
Cage, one
there
of the classics. National Treasure 2, man. Amazing. It's all about flipping.
That should just be like a Disney Plus series.
I think it is going to be, and Mira Nair is supposed to be directing it. So, hey,
What?
yeah.
Hold on.
Yes, you think
I
I'm
just
joking?
saw
This
The
is
National
true.
Treasure series is being directed by Mira Nair?
Yes, she is
What is
apparently
going
on
on?
board
Why? I mean,
because and she's
sure,
also
but
had an
why?
association with Disney. She made one movie with Lupita and David Oyelowo called Queen of Katwe, which was really
Right.
nice, and it's good. And apparently, and I was watching some of the interviews. She's like, man, I've never made a movie like I've made like Queen of Katwe because Disney is on like this like hardcore. It like gives you the budget, but they're so like hardcore. But I think she kind of familiarized her with the process of this really mainstream kind of vibe, and she's cool with it, man. Disney is cool. The story she told in that movie was great, and I think National Treasure, she could really bring out some issues, man. It can be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but of National Treasure. They'll
That's
steal the
true.
Declaration of Independence and they'll change it.
nice.
That's too early to say that.
Similar lines, the very different movie. Night at the Museum 2. Battle of the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Battle of the Smithsonian, very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Such a Star Movies movie.
Very Star Movies movie. Like the first
didn't
one is
realize
already a
that
Star
one.
Movies movie. The second one is even more so.
That is true. That is absolutely true. What else do we got? What else do we got?
Part 2s.
Blade Runner 2040.
I mean, I love that
Yeah.
movie, and I think that is.
There's a part 2. It's literally
part 2.
sequel. Yeah.
It's actually part 2049,
Yeah.
No.
like Wonder Woman and then Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that movie is gonna go down as, you know how the original Blade Runner grew in the decades following its
because of the
release?
director's cut, the rare occasion where director's cut
Exactly.
was better than the original.
Released the Scott cut, as they said. But I think Blade Runner 2049 will similarly be appreciated later.
I agree. I don't,
coming
because
years.
it didn't have Blade Runner in its essence is not a flashy film. It's got great visuals, but the story is quite a like one being
Pretty.
conceptual, the other thing is it's a think piece, man, more than anything else. It's not very like action oriented, even though they tried to kind of inject some of it, but its best moments are in its more pensive ones, and I think that's they did it amazingly, man. Like in the next, like they threw me, like I had no idea, like how the plot was unfolding. It was masterfully executed. It was a tad long. I told you, remember when we reviewed this, I was like, the thing that pulls me out of the film was the appearance of Harrison Ford in it. Because I was just like, oh, it's Harrison Ford. But when you're watching the first one, he's not yet Harrison Ford. Like, he's still like this actor, you know.
He used to still act.
Yeah. Now he's just Harrison Ford.
Now he's Harrison Ford.
He's just Harrison Ford. Like, so I think, but I love that movie. I think it was great. And it's gorgeous to look at, and it's fantastic.
And also Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, yeah, man, amazing portrayal. What about, guys? What about? I was just thinking of something. Oh yeah, Tron Legacy. Since we're on this Disney cool, like this part, and also the sci-fi thing.
That is one of the, like Blade Runner 2049, this second genre of sequels that we're seeing like even more now.
Resurgent sequel.
Yeah, the resurgent sequel. When like 30 years later they're like, let's just remake that thing 30 years later.
Exactly. Do you think these work, man? Like, cause honestly, they have such a unique audience, you know, from that generation. And I don't think Blade Runner 2049 was its intention to kind of set up a franchise. It didn't look like that because it was made with... It looks like it was made as a one-off film, you know, like let's just complete like something.
Yeah, there's
and
no
in many
setting
ways,
up at the end either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And in many ways, it's a pretty different movie. Like it's a completely new central character, and while
but it captures the spirit, man, excellently.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's not a direct sequel. I mean, it is a direct sequel, obviously, because Harrison Ford turns up and they do tie it together. But it's also not really, you know what I mean?
It's
so
a story sequel with different characters, right? Like, cause it's not directly Deckard's story or anything like. I mean, kind of is also. I think they did a great job.
It's the cursed child of the Blade Runner franchise.
No.
Oh yeah, at some point we'll just discuss the worst sequels as well.
Of course.
Yeah, Tron Legacy, I think, you know, I read a review back then when it released saying that the movie is fine, but it's desperately missing a fun.exe patch. And I thought that was the most kind of concise way of putting it. That the movie, I think, took itself too seriously. Like,
very.
Yeah, and unnecessarily so. You know, like the movie has the potential to look great. Of course it did. It has Daft Punk. It has like this great kind of like really intriguing cast with Olivia Wilde, Garrett Hedlund. We've not seen much of him after that, but you know, Michael Sheen is in it. Obviously, Jeff Bridges returns. There was this whole thing of Jeff Bridges playing both characters.
Young Jeff Bridges.
Young, it was awesome, man. There were so many unique things about this film, and yet they couldn't make it compelling enough. Why do you think they did that? I mean, like I just found that to be very strange.
I think it came out in that like at this moment where the idea was to go maximalist, like go really big, and they were like, we can make an amazing, incredible, important Tron. Not like the first one where we were messing around with like computer graphics.
Yeah, it was basically an excuse like to do effects.
Basically.
Wasn't there supposed to be a third one? Or, I mean, a remake? Or
there was it ends with a cliffhanger, right? Like, well, not a cliffhanger, but it ends with the idea that Olivia Wilde's character can like extract herself into a corporeal form, and she can basically leave she's a computer, like she's a computer program, but she leaves the digital world and like enters the physical one through some technology or whatever that they're building. And there was like an amazing setup for a villain, like which was in Cillian Murphy playing the main villain's son, like the corporation. And he was there in the movie, but he's like basically a glorified cameo because he's just there looking kind of sinister but didn't do anything, which I suppose was supposed to be like the eventual sequel's like main villain to rival like Jeff Bridges' character's, you know, son. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see that.
Supposed to have Jared Leto.
The sequel was supposed to have Jared Leto? Why am I not surprised?
It's supposed to be
never worked out.
It's like there's some movies where it's just like, you know, we have to put Jared Leto.
Like Jared Leto just turns up on a set and
he's like, all right, what's my line?
Yeah, like why is he in House of Gucci? Like that's Ridley Scott.
He lands up on a set and they're like, Jared, you're already in makeup, and he's like, oh, I just got here.
Yeah.
I just came from a 30 seconds show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but why is he in that movie? I'm like really upset. Why is he there? Like he's just gonna do some PR thing and take away Lady Gaga's Oscar.
Listen, there can be a million Jared Letos. All right. But anyway, the point is, I think Jared Leto was quite good in Blade Runner.
In Blade Runner.
Yeah, he was quite good.
But
I think he's a
used-
great actor. There's no doubt in my
Use
mind.
Sparingly. That's very, very important.
Agree. I think he's quickly turning into like a pastiche of himself. You know, the types of roles that he takes on, and you know, it's just like strange that they always cast him as these like very eccentric kind of characters. And they're just like, yeah, of course, because you want to believe it on instant, right? We don't have the time to write out a good backstory, so we just need the cast to kind of carry it. And you just cast Jared Leto, and you know, like, oh, he's playing somebody weird. That's basically it.
Maybe he'll break out of it at some point.
We have
a reconnaissance.
like a
Matthew was
McConaughey.
also kind of in
Dude,
the same zone.
wait, stop everything. Matthew McConaughey now has a YouTube channel, guys, and it's amazing. Please watch. Oh, we lost Ruchi. No, she's back. Okay. Please
What
watch.
did
He's
he
doing
do
a
on it? I saw
concert for
that live
Texas.
stream. I saw that. It's pretty.
Dude, his first video
full on
is so
mad.
good. Abhimanyu and I watched it like 3 or 4 times and just laughed and laughed and
first
laughed.
what?
It's so good. Give us a second. Okay, we're back. All right. So yeah, that's one. And then the other one who I realized hasn't done too many sequels was Denzel Washington. But then he gave us the greatest sequel of all time, The Equalizer 2, which was like incredible
Right.
and amazing and one of my favorite films. And it's got
Why is that not called equals to?
nice. Yes, the equals to. No, but
Yeah.
Equalizer 3 will be out or will eventually happen, I hope. But it's a great sequel.
Equalizer.
And it's got Pedro in it, and he's great. And it's like a rare, it had no reason to be as good, basically, as it was. And Antoine Fuqua directed it, the guy who did Training Day, I want to say, and The Magnificent Seven, and a
Right.
bunch of really good films as well.
Julia Roberts has never done a sequel. No, I
No,
suppose
Ocean's
it's
12.
Other than Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
But I mean, Julia Roberts is in that movie.
Erin Brockovich 2, The Return of... I don't know.
Erin Brockovich too. She realized there's more corruption in the world.
She has
Toxic
more
suicide.
phone numbers to memorize. No.
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah, I think she hasn't done one.
It is relatively rare, especially now, I suppose. And by now, I mean like the last 20, 30 years, since
Yeah.
sequels are such a stock in trade.
That is true. I'm going to name a sequel here, which I like from a trilogy overall, which I think is quite underrated, which is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Here's why the sequel is great. The third film, War of the Planet of the Apes, is my favorite. So it's actually, I'd say War of the Planet of the Apes, then Rise, then Dawn. But Dawn is still, like, the trilogy is so good that even Dawn, being my least favorite out of the three, is still an excellent film. It's got Jason Clarke as and this is one of those kind of trilogies where there's long periods of time that span between the movies, so there's lots of progress that happens, especially, you know, as the evolving ape community kind of like settles into the woods of San Francisco and things like that. And in the sequel is one of the principal kind of, it's like the Dark Knight of the trilogy, because he Caesar, the principal character, the principal ape, finds his right-hand man, basically the man he trusts, has like the completely opposing philosophy, whose name is Koba. And Koba's played by Toby Kebbell. He's great. And basically it's just about this warring ideology between the apes, like within the ape camp, which goes against the entire like thing of the films, which is ape together strong, which is what I want as a tattoo at some point. It's so good. But ape together strong, and when not together, not strong. So it kind of like it kind of screws with that, and it's like a tragic. It's the whole series is very Shakespearean, but like this sequel particularly has that at its kind of like core, while they're obviously battling with, you know, the humans to kind of like establish some level of dominance in like a slightly post-apocalyptic kind of world. But it's really, really good. The action is so good. And of course, like, you know, the technology just got better and better as the sequels went on. And so, like, I remember this interview with Andy Serkis saying that, you know, he's like, motion capture is not about, just doing really cool stunts or having really weird looking creatures do like interesting movements, and then we capture it because we're wearing a bodysuit. He's like, motion capture will reach its peak when I can take the camera right into like my face, like as a close up, and hold there for like 30 to 60 seconds with holding the emotion of the character. And I think in this film they kind of accomplish that. Like in the first film it's mostly humans and like Caesar and a few other apes, and in the sequel it's like it's almost split, and then the last one is like the reverse of the first film. And in this one they really kind of get into the whole the emotion of the characters, and it's awesome, man. Like it's really, really good. So yeah, highly recommend.
I need to finish watching this trilogy at some point.
Dude, the third movie will,
I know.
it's just the best.
It's just I forget why I haven't gotten around to it. But
Because
I shall.
it just wasn't like, it wasn't talked about enough.
There was
Like
no
it did well.
urgency to them either.
Exactly,
Because,
yeah.
each story kind of ends.
Exactly. It's
so
a kind of a
there's no,
status quo-y kind of
Yeah.
ending. But it's got a huge arc, and I actually love that about the films. It's really good. And it's a completely new cast except for the apes. The apes are the only people who are there, like in
Yeah.
each film, like who are consistent. We've got some comments saying Austin Powers Gold member. Isn't that a part 3?
Yes.
Yeah, because the
Austin
second was The
Powers,
Spy Who
Austin
Shagged
Powers
Me.
too.
That's the
Yeah,
second
Spy Who
one.
Shagged Me.
And then Gold member with Beyonce, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty good. Banging Beyonce song in that one.
Which one is it?
Work It Out.
Work It Out, right. Dude, but I'm sorry. For me, it's like Madonna and Beautiful Stranger. That's
Also great.
That's
but
the one I remember.
Work It Out,
most.
if I remember correctly, it might have been the first Beyonce banger because it was probably like pre-Crazy in Love also.
No.
Yeah, I don't think she started solo career proper yet.
Dangerously in Love, what year was that? 2003, I want to say?
And okay, let me do a number crunch. Austin Powers franchise. Nobody's Googled that in a while. Borat 2. Has anybody seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
How is it, Ruchi? Is it a good
I
part
have
2?
not,
Is it
but-
worthy
She
of
hasn't seen
mentioning
it
or
yet.
you haven't?
Subsequent
I
movie
haven't,
film.
I haven't, but it's also like literally everybody and their mother has been like, you have.
I don't know. I never got into Borat as much, like the first film. I realized that it was really funny and everybody kind of got into it, and but it was not
Yeah.
like I didn't like, it was not my kind of
Yeah,
film.
I recognized it was funny, but I was like, this is not my.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wasn't like super. I will watch the new one. Apparently, it's a lot more like he only made it because of what's going on in America right now, and he wanted to kind of like highlight that, and almost like an ongoing continuation of like the Who is America, What is America,
Like
the series
a
that he made.
Borat as
I love that show.
Michael Moore.
That show.
Yeah,
is good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. So Austin Powers 3 came out in 2002. Wow, this is an old series. Which means that the Beyonce song would have been before Dangerously in Love.
Wait, so what year did you say this was?
2002 was Austin
Oh
Powers.
wow!
Gold
So yeah, it really was. This was her management going like, listen, I know you want to make your album, but you
Like,
first
hey,
gotta do
we
Austin
saw you
Powers.
in Austin Powers 3.
Hey, your
Austin
tax rate. The changing his management.
You gotta do Austin Powers first, all right? And then we'll make your album. Anyway.
Do I make your album, baby, as they say in that movie.
And there's another. What about Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls? Yeah, we've slightly cancelled those films, right?
Have we? Why?
I don't know.
I don't like them, but
I mean, like,
I
yeah,
thought they
it's
were
fine.
universally adored otherwise.
And also, Aditi says, I liked Kong Skull Island better than King Kong. Interesting. They're not. So King Kong Skull Island is not a Kong Skull Island, if you will, is not a direct sequel. In fact, it's part of this new universe that we're very much enamored by. But the
I
first King
guess.
Kong was quite good. I actually
What is
enjoyed
the
that.
first King Kong?
So I'm assuming that Aditi is referring to Peter Jackson's.
Naomi Watts.
Okay.
I think.
Yes, and Adrian Brody and Jack
I
Black.
enjoy that movie.
That was great. I really liked that.
It's a little. I mean, it has its issues.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, it's not like a
maybe
classic,
similar to
but it's
Tron
quite
Legacy,
good.
The way that it's just slightly too pretentious, but also you have two dinosaurs fighting a King Kong. So, I mean,
Well, Kong Skull Island took a more interesting approach, so I can see that, right?
Yeah.
They set it in this 50s kind of or so 30s, like pre
Turned
World
it
War
into a
II kind
war
of.
movie.
Yeah. They made it. Was it like a Vietnam War movie or was it like a pre World War II kind of
It
movie?
was a Vietnam era war movie, and
Maybe,
they
yeah,
basically
yeah.
like
It had that
photocopied
Viet
apocalypse
Cong
now.
vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
And
I like the spin.
The funniest thing about King Kong that we've now found out is apparently Naomi Watts asked David Lynch if she should like do the movie because she'd done Maharaja with him, and apparently he told her that she had to because anybody who sits in the palm of King Kong is going to be a movie star
That
for
is
life.
true.
That's
I mean,
like quote unquote.
yeah, she is a
And
movie
he
star.
forced her to do it. Yeah, and he
True.
forced her. So can you imagine David Lynch forced Naomi Watts to do King
Isn't
Kong? And
Naomi
that's
isn't
like
Naomi a Academy Award winner
For what?
for 21 grams?
Oh, perhaps. I don't know. But it's,
Somebody do the award crunching.
I'm award crunching.
But isn't that fun that David Lynch is watching King Kong? I'm sure he's watching.
Of course he's watching
Of course
King
he's
Kong.
one. Yeah, I know. That seems very like
it's
that seems
like-
the right
like,
kind of.
I cannot imagine a world where
audience.
he does not watch King Kong. Also, like the classic King Kong is like he's quite right. Like Faye Dunaway, Jessica Lange, they're all like it's
Jessica Lange.
It's
Oh
the
my God.
it's the
classic
iconography
Kong.
of that, right? Like that is
Yeah.
so popular. And
He's
aside,
very cute.
Vishal says, please do podcasts on video games. Duly noted.
I'll
the
say
best
that one.
part 2 video game.
Hey,
Last of Us Part
it'll
2.
just be me then, and Abhimanyu.
No, I'll jump in and talk about
No,
some
I'll-
games that no one's ever played.
We accept Dyna Dash also, Ruchi. So it's fine.
She has been nominated for 21 grams
Okay.
and
Didn't win.
The Impossible in 2013.
Oh, with Ewan McGregor. That is
Yeah.
a sad film, but I liked it. I thought it was good. Who directed that? 1 second. Who directed that movie?
The Impossible?
Yes. Quickly check. I know the.
I can't. I can't check it.
It's impossible. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. just tell me the name.
Does Twin Peaks
on.
Fire Walk With Me count?
J.A. Bayona?
Yeah, he's the guy who did the Jurassic World sequel.
Oh,
Boom. Boom.
Right. Yeah, he's done Fallen
Hey,
Kingdom.
by the way, so we saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom recently
Mhm.
again. I don't think it's as bad as we remember.
It's fine.
I'll tell you
I
why.
think that of all the Jurassic Worlds
Because
now.
it's got 2 amazing ideas in it. Okay, if I'm thinking of it as a part 2 for the Jurassic World franchise, which
Sure.
it is, then it's not a bad film because it introduces 2 ideas which I really liked. One is that this concept of cloning humans, if you haven't seen it, spoilers, whatever, but one of the little girl in the film who kind of runs around and is the guy who's taken over from John Hammond and InGen and everything like that. He's an old guy, and you realize throughout the course of the film, if you haven't seen it, whatever, that he lost his daughter in a car accident, and his granddaughter is alive and running around this mansion where his like manager is kind of doing nefarious deeds by making a like a black market for dinosaur trafficking essentially, and so she's kind of discovers that this is happening in the house, and slowly she realizes that she finds a old photograph of her mother who she's never seen, and she realizes looks exactly like her, so thus kind of proving the idea that she's a clone, and it's cool. All right, I was like not expecting to see that in a dinosaur movie. And then at the end, right, when they have all kind of transported, like, the 2 other, like, really nice thought ideas, like thought experiment kind of things, like, oh, should we let these dinosaurs die? And Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm, who's there, says, yeah, you should let them die. They weren't supposed to be here to begin with. But at the same time, it's like, all right, but you have some kind of responsibility, accountability, towards these creatures that you've created. So are you going to let them die? Or are you going to try and save them? So anyway, a lot of them kind of get trafficked and they get put into this house and they get sold, and then finally everything goes awry and they break out, and they don't break out, but they're still trapped in this mansion, and this like these toxic gases are released and they all start to die, and like the girl Chris Pratt, Owen, and what's her name, Bryce Dallas Howard,
Howard.
yeah, so they're kind of debating they're like, okay, cool, we have to let them die. And everyone's feeling bad and everyone's feeling bad about the dinosaurs. And they say, no, they can't exist because if we let them go now, they'll go into the wild and it'll truly become a Jurassic World or whatever. And then they're about to leave, but the girl, the clone, kind of slams the button and she lets them go. And she's like, if I let them die, somebody would let me die. We're the
Yeah.
same thing. I was like, dude, that's some good shit, dude. That's not bad at all. That was like an interesting direction to take, and it reminded me a lot of like the Ape series. I feel like that's what it could eventually evolve into. Pun, but whatever, you know, like flippin' Jurassic World
yeah.
Dominion. What do you guys think?
I think it was good. I didn't consider, like, you're right. Both of those are very interesting, like, thought experiments, I suppose. And they kind of, they stop there because those aren't really explored in any way. Like the entire, like the girl being a clone doesn't really come out until what, like the last.
It's like the third,
like, sequence of- yeah.
the last act of the film.
Yeah, and it kind of gets wrapped up really quickly also. So it's not like they don't deal with it in like a Westworld kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think that's the point. I think the point is to establish
Yeah.
that she's a clone, so that she is definitely going to be the one to make. Like the way I look at it is like this is like a telltale game, and you know these are choices and consequences, and basically the entire setup of her being a clone is for her to kind of empathize with the
Yeah.
beasts at the end and let them go, and she is responsible now, you know, for the world.
She's one of the beasts.
Yeah, effectively changing forever. I just think that is really, really cool as
It
an
is,
idea.
yeah.
If maybe the
It's-
film
I
is
feel
not
like the only
best
issue is that it
constructed.
stops at that idea. Yeah, maybe.
But
But
that-
I mean, it's still a fun movie.
Exactly, and that's
a
what kind of
dinosaur
makes me
auction.
excited for the next one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Ruchi,
Perhaps.
thoughts on
I'm excited
dinosaur?
for the next one.
Yeah, right. I mean, like
Lord, yeah.
Laura Dern is back. Sam Neill is back.
Never not been excited for a Jurassic movie.
True.
Like,
I
you
don't
could
know
make
about
the worst one and that'd still be
The worst one is 3,
sure.
and it's still featured on a Kunal Rao podcast. So
Yeah.
every Jurassic movie has merit, friends.
Exactly.
Vishal says Silence of the Lambs was also a great sequel.
Of course.
I
no,
mean,
but okay.
But the
does
recast.
that count?
Sorry?
Because does that count? Because Silence of the Lambs did not come out first.
It's actually, this is a side effect.
Sequel, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's
sorry.
a
Yeah, what
sequel.
am I saying? Silence of the Lambs is the first one.
So, it's actually,
I mean, it's the sequel
no.
which I've
so-
read because I am
is-
that person.
Give us the lowdown, Dinkar.
Silence of the Lambs is technically a sequel to a much older movie with a different cast, but I believe that movie,
Red Dragon.
yes.
No,
which
but Red
came out
Dragon
many
is
years
they
later.
remade Red Dragon like later on.
Hold
No,
on, let
but
me
it's
tell
an
you
old-
what
oh,
it's the sequel
Manhunter.
to. I forget the name.
Manhunter.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is in that.
No, he's not. I don't think he is.
Okay, so then
I'm Manhunter crunching.
it's
Alright,
clear
alright,
that
alright.
this is we're due a rewatch of these films, right?
Look, this is like literally what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the recast is,
in the
Right.
series, and there's 4.
and then they
books.
recast again, right? In Hannibal with Jodie Foster
That's not a
doing it.
recast. The show.
No, Jodie
Or the movie.
Julianne Moore, right? Like comes in
Right.
It's
place
a
of,
recast, even though it's a show.
and that of course.
And that's the best installment in the entire series.
The
And then
Hannibal
there's
the
more-
Hannibal show is exquisite. There's no doubt.
It's the best. Yeah.
But the
no
Red Dragon
movie
movie. I remember the Red Dragon movie kind of freaking me out with the Tooth Fairy. If
Edward
I'm not
Norton,
mistaken,
yeah.
Rafe Fiennes is the Tooth Fairy, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
and it's Edward Norton.
So good.
Uh,
Nice.
Yeah, Silence of the
This
Lambs.
is interesting.
It-
In Manhunter, I'm looking at the cast list, and Dr. Hannibal Lecter is spelled Lecktor. What? That was
Okay.
his official name. I don't know why the spelling would come up in the movie, but
Weird. Guys, what about Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World?
yeah, it's the best one.
You know what's a fucking, like, I know history is not a spoiler, but
Uh-huh.
Pocahontas, first of all, the first movie
Is Pocahontas
has issues.
2 based on...
Is Pocahontas cancelled? The first Pocahontas cancelled?
Should be.
Should be cancelled.
But
I love that movie, but it should.
I am sure Pocahontas 2 is not based on historical facts.
Dude, it is. You know why? Because I had no idea. I had never read this. I only was obsessed with Pocahontas as a kid and the Colors of the Wind. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this, but I mean, have you ever seen a wolf cry to the blue corn moon? I don't think so. Here's my point. She doesn't marry John Smith. She goes with a less common name. She marries John Rolfe. Dude.
No.
In the end, it all works out because Mel Gibson plays John Smith, and that's just
Really?
yeah.
Doesn't work out.
So
Wait,
many reasons.
What is the historical stuff Pocahontas 2 is based on, though?
It's based on actual Pocahontas going to England
Oh,
from
really?
Virginia. Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay. I assumed they would have just gone well, we made a good movie, now let's just have fun with this one.
If I'm not
I haven't
mistaken, I
seen
think it was straight to DVD. Hey, listen, we're getting a lot of comments.
Oh, yeah.
Abhishek says, hey, can you recommend me a horror film? We can
Yes.
recommend a horror sequel. How about that?
Here's a good horror sequel, Evil Dead 2, which is the exact same movie as Evil Dead.
No,
but
it's not.
much better.
No, it's not.
Kind
I'll
of
tell you
the
what.
same.
Evil Dead is scary. Evil Dead 2 is a comedy. Now, here's the
Yeah,
best sequel,
But
best horror
Evil
sequel.
Dead doesn't try to be Evil Dead is not quite scary now, I think. It's not.
It's
as-
not, yeah, it's not. But Evil Dead 2 is straight up is a comedy. I will say the
Exactly.
best horror sequel is a movie that Abhimanyu and I love quite a lot, which is called Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining. Again, kind of a spiritual sequel because it's set many years, but it's the same kid from the original, and it's more it's like a genre change. Like it's no longer like horror; it's more like supernatural thriller, which is excellent. It's more like X-Men than it is like The Shining. So definitely check out Doctor Sleep.
Saw 2.
Thor 2.
What?
Saw 2.
Oh, Saw 2. I don't know. Saw 1 and 2 was great, but unfortunately, the king of Saw is not here with us, which is Jishnu Guha.
Exactly.
So we can't.
Which is why you should be honoring. Yeah.
Okay, we got some more comments. Shravan says, have you guys talked about The Godfather Part 2 yet?
He said, Dinkar said we wouldn't. So.
Well, we can if you guys want to. It's a great movie. No question about
it's
it.
better than the first one, and that's it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say that hasn't been said, I suppose?
And The
I
Godfather
would
is not
say.
particularly my favorite series anyway. I understand its relevance and its importance as far as films go, but it's never been
Sure.
it's not my jam.
Understandably, Godfather 2 in that way is a little more probably. Is Godfather 2 more your jam than Godfather?
Probably, right?
Right, yeah. I mean,
It's got more,
it also.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
What?
it's a lot more dynamic.
Yeah, it's cool though, dude. It's fine. It's a sequel. They fixed all the shit in the first one. Listen, here's the other thing. Sarkar 2.
Yes. Solid. Sarkar Raj.
Sarkar
No,
Raj.
wait, was Sarkar Raj the one after that? Have there been 3?
There've been 3?
Let
I think I've only.
me Sarkar crunch this real quick. I forget. It's been a while since the Sarkar.
Yeah. World War Z2 could have been a great sequel, but there's no World War Z2. I would have watched the shit out of it. It's not happened yet, if I'm not mistaken, Vishal.
I think he the comment was that it could have been a great movie. I don't think it's gonna happen at all.
It might. I've read some. I don't know. They could make a great Disney Plus series out of it. Anyway. Anything that doesn't
Sarkar
get-
2 was Sarkar Raj.
Right.
Sarkar 3 was Sarkar 3.
Dude, there is
three?
Sarkar 3?
There is Sarkar 3, yes. I just didn't remember which one was Sarkar
Wow.
Raj. So
Oh
I haven't
my
seen
word.
Sarkar 3. It came out in 2017.
Sarkar 3.
Yeah. It's got to be a snappier title.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue. Abhishek
Sarkar.
says, by the
Yes.
way, love your nuanced commentary, following you since episode 1 of your IVM days. Wow.
Amazing.
You got an
Thank
OG.
you.
Abhishek,
Nice.
thank you so much, dog. That is very sweet of you. And we're glad to know that, we have peeps from the OG days, Ruchi actually was an OG fan.
I was an
That is
OG fan. I was forced into. But it's alright.
Yes.
So tell us
Yeah, you
this.
have Suicide Squad to thank for that as well.
Is the Suicide Squad? It is a sequel, right? Like there are like characters from the first one
Yeah.
there.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
the
it is.
Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad will have.
Which is the forthcoming
It
James
has
Gunn directed.
yeah, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag again. It has Harley in it. It has Amanda Waller, Viola Davis.
Isn't that called Guardians of the Suicide Galaxy or something like
Yeah. What do you guys think of that trailer?
that? It looked like Guardians of the Suicide Galaxy.
I was just
That's
not.
great.
I was like, all right.
Yeah,
was
I
okay.
mean, it seems like a bit of a it seems like exactly what you'd expect a James Gunn directed Suicide
No,
Squad
but you
to
know,
look like.
I see. I still have a
actually-
lot of hope for it. Sorry, Ruchi. Say.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it looks exactly like if you've read any of the recent Suicide Squad ones. They're just like one-offs, adventure of the week style thing.
Right.
It's not really building up to anything, so it just seems like that, and it's fine. I guess it's not really my favorite type. of
No, as
DC
long as they can
storytelling.
write some good
That's
characters in
fine.
and give them some heart and stuff. I know James Gunn is going to do something like that. Like, because even I not being the like, it's like Guardians is not my favorite like series out of the whole Marvel thing, but Guardians 2 has arguably one of my favorite scenes ever, man. Like at the end with Yondu and stuff, it's like it's poetic, it's brilliant, it's really well done, and it gave me feel. So I was like, yo, James Gunn knows where it's at. He knows how to bring pathos into like these like very hard characters, you know, and it's great. So I think I trust him with that. It was just like I saw the trailer, I was just like, well, all right. That's about it.
I mean, I don't think there's much to be said about it either way. It could be great, or it could not be great. I don't know. We've
Let's see.
been
I
bitten
don't know.
once
I mean,
by the squad.
Warner Brothers seems pretty happy with it. He's got his own show with John Cena.
Warner Brothers was fine with Justice League also.
Right.
And
Shravan, so
those
we're getting a lot of
girls.
comments. Shravan is saying, you guys fans of Gangs of Wasseypur 2. I actually haven't seen it. I've seen only the first one.
Huh.
I haven't seen it either.
Yes, a definite fan. Not. I feel like the first one was better, and the second one is a little more like. It's not as kick-ass as the first one.
I mean,
I would say.
see again, I these are not my types of movies. I've very recently
Gangs of
kind of
Wasseypur
realized.
is not. It's a great movie.
No, it's just I just don't like gangs.
What if they're from New York?
That's the only. Hey, yo.
Hey.
Yo.
See? Don't
That's
paint
the only-
gangs
yo,
with
yo,
like
but
a
that's like-
single brush.
Yes, but I was into gang. I mean, like, I was still giving it a shot, but now I'm just like, I'm kind of over the whole, like, The Irishman, you know, like the whole Scorsese kind of, like, oh, here's another story about cool gang guys. I just.
What about
That
The
is
Departed?
that's what I've been trying to
The
tell
Departed, see, The Departed is not a gangster film. It's
course it is.
it's a
not a
police
gangster,
drama.
innit?
It's a police drama based on like infernal affairs. It's a thriller, dude, more than anything else. Yeah, it's got gang elements in it, but it's not. I don't know. It's
Same
not
way,
so much.
Irishman's not really a gang movie.
Exactly. It's not about.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Fine.
All right.
I told you, Ruchi, I'll watch The Irishman when you watch 1917. All right, let's move on.
No, that all right.
Okay, so I look forward to the Suicide Squad versus Justice League story because it's insane to imagine them all against the supers. I think Parag is mentioning the game, yeah, which is something I actually prefer almost to the trailer of the Kill the Justice League is a really interesting pivot for this franchise, right? Like where the Justice League has all gone bad and it's up to the bad guys to kind of put it right. And I like that because they are misfits and they have to take down one of the most well-organized teams out there. So that's cool. I like that. And the trailer is really, really good. And it looks like it'll be a great game as well. So
See, why can't we have that from DC?
I
Why can't we just have like one shots? With a completely different.
watch the
I don't
animated
care.
movies do that all the time. The animated movie,
First
guys.
idea.
Did you watch Death in the Family? It's really good because it's a direct sequel to Batman Under the Hood, which is one of the classics, and it is awesome. So it's kind of just like a recap of it, and then you have like you can choose your ending, but it's quite good as well. Shravan says King Shark is a shark.
He
Damn
is.
right he is.
He's the king.
I mean, he's also a king.
Yeah.
Listen, is Godzilla King of the Monsters a part 2? It is, right? It's part 2 to
It's
Godzilla.
kind of like a split, which is not split. Sorry, Glass, which is like a sequel to two different films.
Oh.
So it's
Godzilla
like
King
Kong,
of the Monsters
Kong
is
Skull
sequel to
Island,
Kong.
and it's a sequel to Kong Skull Island. It's a sequel to Godzilla. Well, technically, it's the third in the Godzilla series because there's Godzilla, then there's Godzilla King of the Monsters, and now there's
Yeah.
Godzilla versus King Kong.
So Godzilla King of the Monsters is part 2.
Yes,
And a great part 2.
fantastic.
Godzilla is a god.
He's a king.
Much like
he's
King Shark is a
god,
shark. Is a
god
shark.
versus king. Yeah, what about Bahubali 2?
I don't...
I didn't see it.
No,
I
thought
saw
that
the
was
first
like-
one. I saw the first one. I enjoyed it.
You didn't want to find out then why Katappa killed...
Those jokes were enough, man. Like, why Katappa killed Bahubali?
Bahubali? What was the joke?
Why
I
Katappa?
mean,
why
or
Katappa?
what was the genuine question?
It was why Katappa killed Bahubali? Because Bahubali is supposed to be like a reincarnation or something, and Katappa, who is his trusted general,
Yes.
ends up killing him.
Stabs
And,
him at the
and it
end.
ends on that cliffhanger. That's the snap of the Bahubali series. And
Was
like,
it not so he'd be reborn as Bahubali?
is that the... Oh, fuck. Is that the ending? That's neat. Then Katappa is redeemed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I haven't seen Bahubali 2 either. Let
What
me
the fuck
number
are you
crunch this
saying
for you.
there?
I've only seen Bahubali the beginning. I didn't watch the ending only.
Wasn't there an episode where you guys reviewed it, or was that just the first one?
I can't...
We might have talked about the first one, and we might have talked about the animated series.
We
which
have talked about the
seen,
animated series, yes.
and the graphic novel.
This I don't recall, but I do remember the animated series.
I
This
feel
isn't half
like
bad.
we saw them both at the same time.
Yeah, Parag says yes, it was the animated series that we were speaking of.
Ah, amazing.
Yeah, I'm an OG fan.
Someone was doing the Geek Fruit crunching.
Ah.
All right, guys. I think we've done enough here in terms of best part twos or best sequels, and we've kind of like diversified the conversation, which is most people kind of just tend to talk about Toy Story 2 or Empire, but we've kind of made the separate types of categories of sequels. Sometimes there's a resurgent sequel. Sometimes there's the status quo sequel, which is like completely starting from scratch again. So I like that these different types. That's cool, man. I dig it. And in fact, if we may end with a very different type of sequel, which was Superman Returns, directed by J.J. Abrams. No, who directed that? Oh, it was
Superman
Bryan Singer.
Yes.
And his movie Superman Returns was a direct sequel to Superman 2 and not Superman 4, which is a weird one. It's an alternate
They
timeline film.
picked the canon, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? And what? That was at least 20 years after?
Yeah.
It's a
So
shame.
Superman
That's an
never
underrated
ended up going on a
movie.
quest for peace.
It's I haven't seen it in a long time now, but I feel like Superman Returns remains a bit of a missed opportunity. Let's
Oh,
say.
100%. Brandon Routh is so good though. I think he's a good actor, and I think he's a great Superman also. Like he had the Clark Kentisms like down. Like it was very
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve, and he nailed that. But
The joyous Superman, something we could all.
you know,
use
again, who's doing a really good job is Tyler Hoechlin in Superman and Lois.
in the series right now. Right?
Yeah, we're on episode 4 or something right now. It's great. You know, it's like it's got drama and stuff like a CW show. Like in this show, it's basically an alternate Earth, like Earth 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Superman and Lois have moved back to Smallville because they want to raise their kids properly. Their kids are called Jonathan and Jordan Kent, and they're kind of like difficult. Like it's like the kind of show where there's like this crazy other arc that is happening where Superman has to fight like a type of Lex Luthor from another timeline and stuff. But the main, like the heart of the story is them figuring out how to go to school, who has powers, things like that. And then they'll have a fight. They'll go like, no, screw you, dad. You don't understand. Meh. And then like at the end, they'll be like, Superman will be like, dude, why are you doing like this? And then they'll be like, sorry.
I love it.
That's
That's a
it.
great show.
They're all
That's
really
perfect.
just sweet, nice kids. And it's awesome, dude. It's
Yeah,
mostly about
Superman's
Lois
their
and Superman. Huh?
Of course, they're great kids. Superman's
Yeah.
their dad. Yeah.
I mean, they're slightly emo, but like they're all like
I mean, obviously, Superman's their dad.
Yeah. But Superman is like, he's a child, dude. And it's great. I know. I like the show. Everyone watch it. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. We shall end with these two last comments. Okay, Brandon was my Superman until DC's Legends of Tomorrow made him Atom. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what a an unfortunate trajectory.
But
he's done.
But he
fine.
does play a Kingdom Come style Superman also in the Final Crisis, which happens, the crossover event that happened on the CW's Arrowverse and stuff. So he did get a chance to replay. I've not seen it, but
But he went from being like potentially the biggest movie star on the planet to playing second hero on a CW show. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's why.
And final comment: is Tobey Maguire coming back in No Way Home? Yes.
No.
All right, we'll call it a day or a night. We'll have a part 2 for this, man. We got
Yeah.
it.
Part 2, all about part 3s.
Right. All right, cool. Thanks, Ruchi. Thanks, Dinkar. If you guys like this episode, please go and check the previous ones out. We sometimes have Abhimanyu on the show. Jishnu's there now and then. But it's a mix of us, and we're talking about stuff, reviewing Justice League, or, we've done WandaVision, stuff like that. So we're going to be doing this every week. We don't have a fixed time for the show, but it's usually on Wednesday or Thursday nights. And if you want, you can go to the comment section and join our Discord and talk to us over there.
Tell us what we're talking about next week, Tejas.
We're talking about GVK.
No.
God
Amazing.
v King. Godzilla vs. Kong. All right.
the
And
best
we're going to
movie
break
of the
down the
century.
entire timeline, all right? We're going to do
Yeah.
it from scratch. All right.
Done.
Cool. See you guys next week. And bye.